Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to decode a really crucial skill for every single Level 4 market research apprentice out there, Knowledge Standard K2. We're diving into how you can use research to become the go-to person for answering those big, tricky questions your business is grappling with. And to show you exactly how this works in the real world, we're going to follow the journey of Jody. Now, she's a Level 4 market research executive apprentice at a company called Ibis Stores. And trust me, she's tackling the very same challenges that you are. So Jody's story kicks off right here with a classic business problem from her manager, Riddle. They've launched this new loyalty app, but it's totally underperforming. The business needs to know why. And this isn't just some small hiccup, it's a real mystery that needs solving. And that's where market research comes into play. All right, let's open up our case file. Here's our mission briefing for today. We're going to start by understanding the real why behind the research. Then we'll get our hands on the Business Detectives Toolkit. We'll see K2 in action, learn how to build a rock-solid case file, prep for that final interrogation, and finally watch the amazing transformation from apprentice to expert. First up, Section 1, Jody's first big question. Before she can even think about digging into data or sending out surveys, Jody has to get her head around the most fundamental part of this whole task. So you have to ask, right? Why is Riddle even asking her to do this? And this is such a key insight. In the world of marketing, we don't do research just because it's interesting. Nope. Every single piece of research has a purpose. It's there to help someone make a smarter decision. Could be about a new product, an ad campaign, or just making customers happy. Now, just as Jody is wrapping her head around this, her mentor, Adam, steps in. And he's got a fresh perspective that's about to totally change how she sees her job. And wow, this piece of advice is a game changer. Adam tells her to stop thinking like an apprentice and start thinking like a business detective. Suddenly, her job isn't just about tasks. It's about finding clues and solving mysteries for the business. How cool is that? So what exactly is this K2 thing we keep mentioning? Well, officially, it's the knowledge standard that powers all this detective work. But I want you to think of it as your license to investigate. It's your formal know-how for using research to find answers that will guide the entire marketing team. And of course, every good detective has a process, right? A playbook? This slide lays out the 5-step process you're going to follow to crack any case. First, you identify the mystery. Then, you choose your tools. Step 3, you gather the clues. Step 4, you explain your findings. And finally, and this is super important, you reflect and improve for the next case. Now we're rolling into Section 3, K2 in action at Ibis. So Jody totally gets her new role as a detective. But now she needs to know what kind of mysteries she'll actually be investigating. This slide is absolutely fantastic because it basically categorizes any mystery you'll ever face into one of these 3 buckets. First, you've got your business questions, like, is our advertising actually working? Then you have customer questions, like, what is physically stopping people from signing up? And finally, you have the really important policy questions, stuff like, are we collecting data legally, GDPR and all that. For Jody's case, she's probably going to touch on all 3. So why do we bother asking these specific types of questions? It's pretty simple, really. When you can answer them with solid research, you're making sure that every single marketing action is relevant, justified, and defensible. You're swapping out risky assumptions for hard evidence. You're trading I think for I know. And that, my friends, is a game changer. Okay, on to Section 4, building your evidence file. Because let's be real, doing amazing detective work is one thing, but Jody needs to prove it for her portfolio on Aptum. And this is where her coach, Olivia, comes in to help. So Olivia explains that for Aptum, your portfolio is basically your case file. It has to be packed with evidence of your investigation. We're talking research summaries, maybe some data dashboards showing off your clues, reports you helped write, and those all-important reflective accounts where you explain your whole thought process. And here is Olivia's #1 top tip. It's a simple but seriously powerful framework. Your evidence file needs to tell a compelling story. Start with the question you were given. Describe the action you took to investigate, and then clearly show the outcome you delivered for the business. Question, action, outcome. Easy. Let's move into Section 5, passing the final assessment. To make absolutely sure Jody is ready for her endpoint assessment, or EPA, Olivia runs her through a little mock interrogation with some questions she's very likely to hear. Okay, let's practice with the super common opening question from an assessor. They want to know if you really understood the mission from day one. What was the core question that was driving all of your work? So here's how you structure the perfect answer to knock that one out of the park. First, state the question clearly and concisely. Second, explain why it was so important for the business to get an answer. And third, link your work directly to the specific product you were looking at, in this case, that loyalty app. Now for a really critical one on compliance. Assessors will always want to know that you handle data legally and ethically. This is a total non-negotiable part of the detective's code. So the crucial point here is to show you didn't just mindlessly follow a checklist. You need to name the policies, like GDPR, describe the actual steps you took, like anonymizing data or checking consent boxes, and most importantly, explain why those steps were absolutely essential for doing professional, ethical research. So, after all that, where has this journey taken Jodi? Well, in our final section, we're going to see how this whole process has transformed her from just an apprentice into a genuine expert. I mean, this slide just captures it perfectly, doesn't it? She started out as an apprentice who, might have relied on a bit of guesswork. But now, she's a confident business detective who operates on solid evidence. She's completely shifted her mindset from asking, "What should I do?" to asking, "What does the data tell us?" And that is the ultimate value of mastering Key 2. You become the person who can turn your team's guessing into knowing. You're the one who provides clarity, you reduce risk, and you give your business the confidence it needs to make the right moves. And that's our explainer on mastering K2. Jodi solved the mystery of the loyalty app, giving iBuy stores the hard evidence they needed to improve it. And now it's your turn to pick up your toolkit and ask yourself, what business mystery will you solve next?